Greetings, YouTube. So the day has finally arrived where we can talk about my newest rank 3-6 star. Look, I get if you think I'm an idiot for taking up this guy over Bishop. If you're talking about strictly something like a Battlegrounds perspective, yeah. I don't expect to use him on defense or maybe even on offense. But I do use him every day for the Restoration Kit synergy. And so I thought it would be appropriate to post this as a full screen radio style voice over video so we can really dive into what Kabam is trying to communicate as the new bleed god, which ironically I consider his synergy partner for the Restoration Kit synergy, Nick Fury, to be. All right, so we're just going to go straight to the mechanics because that's really why we're here. Deadpool X-Force excels at berating his opponent with insults during the fight to inflict taunt debuffs that weaken them. It is imperative that his opponent is annoyed during the fight to maximize Deadpool X-Force's poke output. I always butcher that D name, so we're just going to say poke output. Furthermore, he skips around the battlefield nonchalantly to frustrate his opponent even more. If they're too distracted by his gleeful approach, he can unleash a devastating super slap to inflict massive bleed damage. I don't know about you, but when I think of a super slap, I think of Dr. Doom, the Doom slap. So maybe it'll be the same thing. Who knows? Especially because it's a heavy. Strengths and weaknesses. He's resilient. Constant application of taunt debuffs causes the opponent to deal much less damage and allows Deadpool X-Force to take more hits than most, which, depending on if they go full overhaul on his animations or not, would make him a good defender. But let's be honest, his animations as is are so easy to dex that he's not a threat really at all as a defender. Deadpool X-Force's poke alongside his special attack 1 and his super slap can apply a massive amount of bleed debuffs. I almost said dead debuffs, which I guess should be your goal, to knock out the opponent and get them to feel like they're dead. Weaknesses, bleed immunity. That is obvious. Abilities. We'll start with the taunt. I'm the Merc. Boy, when Kabam is having somebody yell, I'm the Merc, you know it's going to be controversial on the forums. Deadpool can inflict taunt debuffs on the opponent, reducing the opponent's attack rating by 25% for 13 seconds. This max stacks for 3, which math would tell me means that you reduce the opponent's attack rating by 75% maybe? Inflict a taunt debuff each time the opponent fails to activate a buff or debuff during a basic attack. Inflict a taunt debuff by landing a heavy attack. Stacking taunts. Only Deadpool could be so brash. Stack all 3 and have your opponent's special attack cycle all day long. Which, you know, when you have somebody like Corvus who only has initially those 20 crits, that could be a long day for Corvus, especially if he wants that mutant mission. 100% chance to inflict a bleed debuff causing 1,229 direct damage over 4 seconds. That's a decent amount of damage. While skipping forward, Deadpool builds up indefinite slap charges to a max of 10. Once he reaches max charges, Deadpool can expend them during a heavy attack to unleash a super slap, inflicting 10 stacks of bleed. So this is going to make deep wounds extra important to maximize those 10 stacks of bleed when you unleash a super slap. The bigger the ego, the bigger the slap. Charge up Deadpool's super slap charges to deal some big bleed damage. Take control of the stage to get charges quick. Special 1 if the opponent has a taunt debuff during this attack. The poke does not have a cooldown. That is awesome. In shorter fights, spam heavy attacks and special 1s to stack tons of bleeds on the opponent. Special 2, this is Deadpool's favorite attack while fighting. As a defender, he's 100% more likely to use it over other special attacks. Again, that's not a big deal if they keep the animations the same. If suddenly they turn into something that's like harder to dex, then it's a little bit more of a defender mindset. If Deadpool successfully lands all his hits during the attack, he has a 100% chance to inflict a stun passive lasting 3.5 seconds. Oh, that's kind of cool. I mean, a 3.5 second stun is not a short stun. Knock the opponent away and land a long-lasting stun to build up a ton of super slap charges. Special 3, inflict a taunt debuff, 100% chance to gain a vicious buff, increasing the potency of damage over time debuffs by 75% for 25 seconds. While this effective is active, all taunt debuffs on the opponent are paused. And then make sure you've got a super slap in the bank before the special 3. Signature ability, super Is it Kiliously superior slander? You know I butchered that. Each time the opponent purifies a taunt debuff or a taunt debuff on the opponent is replaced due to hitting the max stacks limit, Deadpool gains a power gain buff, granting 0.5 bars of power over 5 seconds. The cooldown is 5 seconds. When insults fail, try violence. Race to a special 3 or spam a ton of special ones with some extra power gain for the merc with a mouth. Synergy bonuses. Moon Knight Deadpool Classic Taskmaster Crossbones. Teammates Archangel Cable. I always love AA gets any synergy bonus. Craven Rhino Thanos Juggernaut. Crit rating. Recommended masteries. What do you know? Deep Wounds is on the list, right? Petrified Pacify grants ability accuracy reductions, decreased combat power gain, and regeneration rate to opponents that are afflicted with Deadpool X-Force's special attack to stun. That's good to know. And that concludes the info. Let's scroll all the way, sorry for your eyes, to the top of this. I must say, I'm cautiously optimistic. Now, I was cautiously optimistic with Guillotine's buff, and that made people more angry than happy. Kind of the opposite of, say, Red Mag or even White Mag's buffs, for example. Is he going to be the Bleed King? What do you think? Let me know in the comments below. And as always, thanks for watching.